Hello everyone. Welcome back to the stream today. We're back on Le Mans Ultimate. Back for another race around Silverstone National. Of course, recently added in the 1.3 update. We're back in some hypercars. Just hypercars this time. No multi-class racing this time. No multi-class chaos. But we still have some weather chaos. Rain in the middle portion of this race. Not maybe quite as heavy as what we've seen with the SROL race that was multi-class, but still rain nevertheless. 60 minutes of racing coming up in the near future. First, we will have a qualifying session. Welcome everyone. Yeah, we're back Silverstone National. This will be an interesting race. Just a bit of a fun social. We have a limited selection of hypercars. The three weakest hypercars in LMU. We have the Glickenhaus, the Isoto, and as you can see at the bottom, the extra terrible Van Wall. Yeah. Yeah, those Van Walls are gonna struggle. But yeah, quite interesting. We're gonna take some fuel out. Yeah, we'll go 9% as we get ready for qualifying for this event. Yeah, just a nice casual social. Should be quite interesting. The times are quite close, so they are, which is to be expected around such a short circuit. But with impending weather, you never know what's going to happen. You never know. We do have tire warmers on for this event, so we can have nice short quali runs. Try and make the most of a new tire. I'm saying 5 laps. As we head out for our first run, that'll give us 3 stints. So it will. Do you have the battery deployment turned up just to, you know, get that battery round to the mid-level. Then in a moment we'll turn it back down. Of course, we're in the Isoto, one of the LMH cars, hybrid on the front axle. It can only deploy above 190 kilometers per hour, so will not have much of a four-wheel drive traction advantage in the rain. Down to 47.5 on our second lap. Oh, I could have pushed it a little bit more through T1 there, currently holding second place. Tricky braking zone through Maggots into Beckett's. And also a bit of a tricky braking zone into Brooklands as well. Silverstone National, a short circuit, only 6 corners, does not make it an easy track though. Not an improvement on our third flying lap. Let me just talk you around a lap. Coming up to T1, Cops Corner, down a couple of gears, swing it in. About 200 kilometers an hour, careful of track limits on the exit. And then head down, big braking zone through Maggots. Go and try and keep the car straight through the braking zone. Get turned in for the right-hander in the short chute that leads us on to the Wellington Straight. Wellington Straight then brings us to the final few corners. Braking for Brooklands, you want to trail the brake and turn the car in. Corner tightens up with the late apex. Get on the throttle for the short run to final corner. Long right-hander of left field. Get on the power as soon as you dare. Use all the track on the exit. But we're actually going to practice the pit entry because... Ooh, I don't think that was a legal pit entry. But that doesn't matter. It is only qualifying. We'll put on a new set of tyres. We'll take 1% of VE out, as we've been bumped to P3 now. But we are the leading Isoto, which is nice. We also have plenty of tyres, so you know this short strat of qualifying is not detrimental. And we go for another sequence of 4 flying laps. Just to find any time if we can. A little bit deep into Beckett. Trying to brake as late as I can. Currently only 2/10 off of provisional pole. Very even with our delta. It's just Brooklands and Luffield to go. Very interesting line through there. Nope, won't be an improvement this time. been bumped down to P4, but still fastest of the IFs. Still very even on our delta. A little bit wide of the apex at Brooklands. Oh, we found a bit of time. Found a quarter of a tenth. Will close us up towards the front. And we get one more attempt. So just getting ourselves a little bit closer. You know, every little bit matters. You know, there's only 6 corners around here, one of which is easy flat out. Bumped down to P5 now. But still leading Isoda. Yeah, I don't think we have the time in the lap to get into the top 5. Certainly not with an apex like that. Try and set up a better exit onto our next flying lap just to try and get every little bit of time that we can. Good T1. Good Beckett's. Still less than a tenth up though. That is the margin of time that we're fighting over. Oh, that's such a bad final sector. Oh, if I did mess up left field there, it could have been a 10th. That's annoying. We still have one more lap. So we'll prepare our exit out of the field. We're like 100th down on that previous lap. Oh, a slight little lock up into Bricklands. Lost us a bit of time. We still improved, but only by 15 thousandths of a second. Yeah, I mean, we had, what, maybe a 10th in that lap time, without the lockup. It wouldn't have been enough to get P4 into top 4. Welcome, Marble. You join it just at the end of qualifying. We've done our laps. Yeah, and we sit front of the Isatos. One of the things I want to see is the big question of this race, since there's going to be rain and it's going to slow the race down, how much fuel or virtual energy are we going to need for the race? If the average lap time was 47.5, we'd be like 10 laps short, or 10% short. Something around, no, like 20% short, I should say. Put on new tires for the start, that would be good. But if we fuel save a little bit during the race, might be able to make it without putting any more VE in. Or maybe we'll put in like 10%. Something like that. Good thing is, P5 odd position puts us on the inside for Woodcott on the formation lap, which means, in a way, we're effectively starting P4 with my experience. There you can see the in the top right. Yeah, I've got a couple of clicks between us and the next Isato. That's the main goal. We want to be top Isato. Yeah, let's get out. And the reason I want to get out is want to change this V. We'll put it at 50%. We'll select new wets because that is when we will be pitting. Game says we'll need 24% VE. Do we put in like 10 seconds? I think 10%, which would take about 5-ish seconds, 4 or 5 seconds. I don't know. Currently, Dan Tomlinson's got 10% in. He's forgot to change from his quali. Just alongside us, directly on our left-hand side. And he's realised with 10 seconds. Pike has gone 62%. That's not quali fuel. I think they're going to be putting a bit more energy in at the pit stop, which will cost them time. information lap feels very slow. Because it's so twisty and, you know, there's a big difference in distance travelled between the two sides. You can't get this, oh, back and forth, back and forth. Right, waiting for the start now.
Green flag, green flag.
Ah, it's late on the button. Bit too cautious into T1 as well, but that's alright. Ooh, car behind got absolutely dive bombed. Thought about trying a cheeky move there as the car behind gets dive bombed themselves. Concertina effect very noticeable into Beckett's. Well, that was stupid. Sent it from like 2 years back. Car in front got their braking wrong. Let's just close up, but they have a good run onto this straight. Ooh, random tire in the track. I didn't practice any lifting points in practice. So I'm just trying to see what's comfortable here. Still got a yellow flag in this section of track. One car spun. There's a slow car there. I didn't know what happened. Car in front's gone very wide and I've followed them slightly. Still a yellow flag here. There's another car off. Oh, that car's lost her rear wheel, and they're just trying to limp it back to the pits. That's just dangerous. Now they're blocking pit entry. Yeah, I don't think we really have a chance of beating any of the 4 cars in front of us on pace. So we kind of have to rely on strategy. At least not until the rain comes. Maybe then we can be a bit more competitive. Till then, it's just save a little bit of energy. And have a shorter pit stop. Car on the left. You can see P2's also fuel saving. For reference, we're saving by 0.1% a lap. You know, so over this race, we could save 7% if it remained dry. Of course, it's going to start raining, and that will change strategies. Ooh! Oh. I have to go round a lap. Oh, well, there was space there. Oh, that was such a random twitch. I just put the power down as I did every other lap, and the car just started sliding out. Oh yeah, I don't have a rear wing. I should not be going this quickly. I might as well wait. Oh, that sucks. I have to do a whole lap like this. pit box is the very first one. How much the damage? It's only a minute. But I mean, like, we're gonna be laps down. We don't know what mistakes people are going to make during the race, though. So it looks like that. Either we used, I think. Oh, you are kidding me! You are kidding me! Oh, that is so rude. The drizzle comes as soon as, like, when I'm in the pits. Oh, that's... Huh? Oh, I guess damage is 71 seconds and tires is then an additional 13. Usually it shows you the accumulative time. Yeah. You know, usually it show damage then is 84 seconds for your total pit time, but it didn't for some reason. At least we'll be in sort of bit of clear air. Oh, good to know the tires cooled down during the pit stop. When damage is being repaired, yeah, it's just a damage thing. Right, it's too early to pit because track still has high grip. We are waiting until the track gets slightly wet. That is the ideal pit time. You know, because track isn't even damp yet. So all the people pitting for new tires at the moment, which there seems to be a couple, they're just going to ruin those wet tires. Track is now damp. Couple of cars off. I'd like to get past this glick. Oh, I also need to drain the battery. I think that car's lost a rear wheel. Yeah, track is starting to lose grip now. But I don't think it's wet tire time just yet. Looks like everyone's gone to wet tires now. Trying to brave out just a little bit longer, just to offset the wet tires. I also need to... Yeah, it's slightly wet now. So we'll just put in wet tires, and then, yeah, we're not taking on any energy, any fuel. 13.3 seconds for that tire change. Yeah, and then we try and chase down whoever we can, take advantage of any mistakes people make. Now we've got to play the game of wet lines. Where's the grip? Where isn't the grip? Is it beneficial to compromise your racing line to try and find some extra grip? As a cheeky pass. There's another car round. Another position up into the top 10. 9. Car start under steering there. Another car has spin, but a car we're already in front of, unfortunately. Yeah, now the track is moderately wet. Rather than just slightly wet. So the track continuing to get slower and slower. Annoyingly, we've got a lap to most of the cars in front of us. I mean, we're lapping like a second a lap quicker than them, but it's big gaps, you know, nothing that we're going to close in without a mistake, unfortunately. You can see the intensity of the spray increasing. Oh, one car's into the pits. Also, the car directly in the next position in front of us might be short on energy. Well, that was awkward. We got 3 cars spinning in that corner in front of us. There's 2 trying to rejoin there. Well, we're still in P10. Halfway through the race now. Running high 53s at the moment. That was going to be a very interesting rejoin. Glad it happened behind me and not in front of me. Rain has stopped, so it has interestingly. So the track is only going to get faster. Someone's already switched back to the medium tire. That's way too early. Now the track's slightly wet, so it is drying up. Oh, that could change the complexion regarding virtual energy. Just noticed we're up to P9. Actually, that's quicker than the leader that lap. Might be getting to the point where the racing line, which is drying up, is actually the quicker line to be on. Though in the corners, it's not that dry. You know, there's not as much of a noticeable racing line because you know, there isn't the speed of the airflow and the diffuser working as hard to dry the racing line. Of course, with tire warmers being on, there's no tire warm-up to consider. So one try and keep an eye on P11 there, who has changed onto the medium tires. See what lap times they're doing. If they dip into the 52s, I'd say it is time to pit. Well, low 52s maybe. You know, we're about to dip into 52s on the wet tire. .59.7. So definitely not ready. Ah, yes. Just park on the racing line. Why don't you? Ooh, car in P8 has jumped for the slick tire. We've got the first medium runner in front of us now. Certainly haven't seen a lap time yet, and last lap time was a minute. So still too wet for those mediums. Now the track's gone to damp. 53.3, yeah, now's the time. Now's the crossover point. But you still have to be really careful, you know, because you get off the racing line, you know, when the grip's gone again. .1 seconds that time. So a couple attempts quicker. But bye-bye. Came out just 2 seconds in front of the car behind. Need to get a little bit more temperature into our tires. Though I don't think we need to fuel save anymore for the rest of this race. I need to stop going deep in corners. It is worrying me that the car's just going to snap because of the wet part of the track. I wonder if some of the people that haven't switched yet are thinking, you know what? We're far enough into the race, it's not going to be worth it. They might be right, you know, only 12 minutes to go. Well, that's about 15 or so laps. You know, the pace difference does need to be like 2-3 seconds a lap. And currently it's only about 1 second a lap. Oh, that car's missing a tire. That's another car in the wall. Thank you for outbraking yourself. Minutes remain. Car in front and behind us outbrake themselves. Well done, people. So we're trying to chase down the Glickenhaus in front of us. Interestingly enough, was the Glickenhaus we were following at the start of the race too. I really wish the people in the barrier would just clear off the circuit now. You know, they've been there for like 4 laps. 3 minutes now and they've not moved. You know, it's going to be a bit annoying if that's just a permanent yellow flag for the rest of the race. Now, what's going on there? That's just silly. You know, should I be expecting a mobile chicane there next lap? Oh, one of the cars in front is pitting. Oh, yep, just someone sat on the apex. Well done. Contact with the car in front who's trying to unlap themselves from someone who I think is still on a wet tire, perhaps? That puts him into half spin and gives us P7. The Glicks have good acceleration. Not much brake confidence from the car in front. Just look how good it gets off the corner. Oh yeah, like that acceleration. No way I'm going to be close enough for a dive into Brooklands. This is just holding us up. Like the behind's catching us again. Oh, they went off behind. I seen them going deep. They went deeper than I thought they did. Oh. Car made a mistake. That lets us through, thankfully. Track is getting close to full grip. Come on, people. That's a piss take. Well, we are catching the car in front, but with only a few laps remaining. And still 14 seconds to catch. Come on, just lining up on the inside of Woodcock now. You know, I thought they'd at least go into the pits. You know, if anyone was actually trying to have a good battle at the end of this race, you know, that would be quite disruptive. You know, especially just sitting on the inside, you know, behind a barrier. You know, you can actually see the cars parked stationary there now as you're approaching that corner. Leaders finished the race. In the end, it's going to be P7. I mean, what could have been? It would have been interesting to see how that race would have went without that mistake early on. Yeah, that just sort of random snap. The fuel, the virtual energy. I mean, we finished 3 laps down, so we've done 3 more laps. Technically, a little short on the VE, but we weren't saving energy on those final 10 minutes. So, you know, I could have saved that for 0.4 laps. I mean, that's only like 1% VE. You know, we were able to save 0.1% a lap, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, Christian Kiesig taking the win, finishing on the wet tire, I believe. Only 2 people finishing on the lead lap. Yeah, it would have been nice to see how that could have went without... without the mistake. I mean, we were saving energy, you know, at part, and we were on par with Kasich there. Of course, with the different strategy of sort of him not changing tires and me changing onto mediums. You know, like you noticed after I came out of the pits, he had like 5%. We had 5% more VA than him. And by the end of the race, you know, it was only a 1% difference. But yeah, I mean, we still had a couple of laps left of VE at the end there if we were on the lead lap. It would have been interesting. But yeah, that weather certainly spread things out, unfortunately. But yeah, nearly full slammed into the Van Rolls because they were unsighted. Yeah, that's like, I get there's a no rage quitting rule, but that what they were doing is honestly worse. Yeah, that was just, you know, I mean, there's also a rule like, oh, no, like, crashing, even jokingly, after the start finish line. What about parking behind a blind corner you can't see past? You know, that's just as dangerous. Yeah, that wasn't great. That shouldn't have happened. Yeah. Nasty. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there'll be a little talk about that. But yeah, I mean, also a couple of times, like at one time I came through that field and one was just on the inside of the corner. It's like, what if anyone were actually, having a battle and going side by side through there? It's like the car on the inside, that bat, immediately has to back out of the move. It ruins battles. Um, I mean, you can go back to pit lane repair. You can't sort of return to pits through the pause menu because that retires you from the race. You damage. You damage from hitting the car leaving the pits. How'd you do that? I guess because it's quite a bit of a speed difference. So like as you come together, you're very suddenly on the radar, and especially with the yeah, I mean you can just park stationary in the pits. Yeah, for sure. Um, but thing is, like one of them didn't have a tire, so just getting them to the pits was difficult enough. Um, yeah, but especially with the short circuit, you really want to use that entry curb um, for um, the entry to maggots. Whereas if it's a full GP, like you sort of just stay in the middle of the track, so you don't come across the pit entry as much. When tried out, you had a rear lock into Bricklands. Did you adjust your brake bias at all um, for the weather? Yeah, you just forgot to bring it back forward. That would do it. Because Bricklands it's definitely a tricky braking zone as you try and turn the car in while trilling on the brakes. Tricky one. Um, yeah, you moved it back. Um, oh, before the lock. Oh. Hmm. Wait, did you go? Um, no, yeah, that is. Yeah, could have been, or maybe the track was still a little bit damp at the end. It wasn't quite full grip. Like despite the low fuel and tires still being relatively fresh, the times were still a second, a little more than a second slower, which is a lot of time for such a short track. Slower than what we were doing at the start of the race with full tanks. So yeah, maybe just downshifting too fast, slightly too aggressive on the pedal that time. It can just be a minuscule too much, and yeah, especially if you end up locking the rears, the car can go round very quickly. Knowing when it happens. Um, but yeah, that's going to do it for stream. Um, I'm going to head off. Thank you for coming on by. Hope you enjoyed Self Edgy. Thank you, Artie Geeky, for chatting a bit. Hope you enjoyed the race. Thank you to anyone else who has been lurking as well. Be back. Got a race next Wednesday in a few days, in just under a week. Have fun start though. Yes, yeah. I was sort of settling into a nice race. I didn't really have any battles at the start. Was just sort of just surviving any big carnage, making sure I didn't run into anyone because the um concertina into Bricklands for the first few laps was like nearly caught me out because I was thinking, right, let's try and start braking late, make sure I don't fall behind. It's like, oh, hang on, still need to brake early. Everyone's still backing up. I think that's mostly from Keysig fuel saving, sort of at the front of that little pack. But yeah, just allowing me to fuel save as well. Which, yeah, was the play. With how tight we were on fuel at the end, and we didn't have to take any fuel and didn't have to waste any extra time stationary in the pits from that from fuel. So yeah, that was good. Yeah, back next Wednesday. It will be a break between now and then. Not like what I said sort of last week that we'll not have any races next week. It's like nope, and we end up having 3 streams this week. Yeah, break between now and next Wednesday when the first round of SRL's WEC Championship, taking the Genesis Hypercar for full 8 races this year, starting with Imola next Wednesday. It's an hour and a half, a 90-minute race. So yeah, yeah, interesting. But yeah, that's good. Thank you all for popping in. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully, I'll see you next Wednesday. If not, well, until then, have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend. I'll certainly be enjoying the WRC this weekend. But yeah, till next time, take care. Bye bye.